6:30 in Douala. You're welcome to today's edition of Prime News on My Media Prime. My name is Genda Belgium Blanche King. We're live from Douala, the economic capital of the country. The National Executive Committee of the Social Democratic Front political party has declared the petition submitted against Vice Chairman Honorable Joshua Osi by the head of Littoral Regional Executive of the party admissible, thereby giving the legal department 3 weeks to study the file. Details with Fonquintai, the following report.
Instilling unity and reconciliation within the Social Democratic Front political party was priority during the May 8th National Executive Committee meeting. Chaired by the party's National Chairman John Furunzi, the National Executive Committee of the Social Democratic Front political party, during their meeting in Yaoundé, admits Vice Chairman Joshua Osi has not been dismissed from the party but declared complaints filed against him for anti-party activities admissible. Although the next declared petition against the Vice Chairman Honorable Joshua Osi admissible, it handed over the file to the legal department of the party to study and report in the next 3 weeks. NEC equally instructed first Vice National Chairman to prepare reports of the last presidential, parliamentary and municipal elections that were managed under his supervision. The National Executive Committee equally frowned at the regional chairman of Littoral to desist from trying to execute the provisions of Article 8.2 and also for all party members to respect the party's communique put out by the Secretary General in respect of carrying internal party debates to the media. Other resolutions of the May 8 National Executive Committee meeting included condolences to families of persons that have died from COVID-19, as well as a call on government to carry out an extensive audit on the use of funds destined for the fight against COVID-19.
2 persons have been declared dead following an accident which occurred along the Nkonsamba-Bafoussam stretch of road. The 2 cars involved in the accident are destroyed beyond repairs. The deceased are in the mortuary, while the injured are presently in the hospital under medical care. Details in the following report.
At least 2 persons have lost their lives in the fatal road accident that occurred yesterday along the Nkonsamba-Bafoussam stretch, road number 5. According to witnesses, 2 private cars at top speed collided, leaving the 2 cars damaged beyond repairs. A navy blue Toyota Carina E, matriculated LT 9721F from an opposite direction, failed to negotiate a bend on time. The other white car, matriculated LT 8966J, left Baham on full speed. In an attempt to dodge a pothole, the car diverted its route into the other lane occupied by the blue car, leading to a head-on collision. Kamdem Gassa Roger and wife were victims of the accident that occurred yesterday. Reports confirm they were returning from a funeral before meeting the untimely death. Some survivors are badly injured and presently at the hospital battling between life and death, as the survivor lost a leg during the rescue process. The accident temporarily disrupted circulation till the arrival of security forces and road safety gendarmerie officials. The remains of the deceased have been transported to the mortuary pending burial, while the injured are receiving treatment. Several road accidents have been recorded recently. On Friday, 2 persons were confirmed dead in an accident which occurred along the same Nkonsamba-Bafoussam stretch of road. Road users have been urged to take into consideration road safety measures at all times to curb the rising figures of death recorded from road accidents.
An accident in Penjas equally claimed the lives of a pregnant lady and a drunk bike rider. The victims were hit by a truck, and the accident has been blamed on poor driving on the part of the bike rider. Details with Nora Kakibi.
The population of Penja in the Littoral region witnessed a fatal accident over the weekend which left 2 persons dead. A pregnant woman and a bike rider are said to have died in Penja in an accident involving a truck and a bike. Sources say on Friday night the said lady was attending a wakekeeping in a neighborhood in Penja, and when it was about time for her to return to her house, she mounted the bike but was cautioned by some attendees of the wakekeeping that the bike rider who was about taking her home was already dead drunk. Unfortunately, she did not heed to the warning but went ahead to mount the bike, ignoring the consequences of drunk driving. Moments later, the bike and its occupants were badly hit by an oncoming truck, which claimed their lives on the spot, and the bike was equally badly damaged. According to local reports, the bodies of the pregnant woman and that of the bike rider were both trapped under the truck from about 8 p.m. on Friday and only recovered on Saturday morning when some council officials visited the scene. The population of Penja did not fail to express their dissatisfaction towards the disrespectful behavior of the council authorities in Penja for ignoring and abandoning the bodies of both the pregnant woman and the bike man.
2 o'clock tonight, bike, it be the common for cacao for Crise, for that place. They wish where motor to be the camp. They dance, motor one dash. The problem on top of it, waiting for Konazi motor so before he fall. Then some woman just have for that motor just fall for his skin. And the motor was here for her on top of that woman that skin. But the job went on a council, make the cam, the fan engine them, make the car pick up that motor and they survive that body before they see how they figure put them to no burial.
That body there for you because big people like Penja, they will get to move that body see for net. Make all the people now will come for you. But I don't know why they leave that body for you.
The bodies were later taken to the mortuary pending burial arrangements.
His Grace George Kmer, Bishop of Kumbo Diocese, has celebrated 40 years of priesthood amidst intense gunshots in Bamenda. The bishop emphasized only genuine dialogue can rescue the present socio-political condition or crisis in the 2 English-speaking regions of the country that has crippled economic and social activities for over 5 years now. He made the declaration during the ceremony to mark his 40 years of priesthood. The event was attended by Northwest Governor Adolphe Lille-Afrique, amongst other dignitaries. Details with Charles Kmer.
The 40th anniversary of his lordship, Bishop George Nku, into the sacred ministry of priesthood held under sporadic gunshot and firearm in the presence of Northwest Governor Adolphe Lille-Afrique, personal representative of the head of state. The Ruby Jubilee celebration Friday, May 7th in Kumbo at St. Augustine College saw not void of interruption from separatist fighters, gunshots sending Christians to the floor in exchange between the military that lasted through the event in a homily titled The Gospel of the Good Shepherd by the Archbishop of Bamenda, Andrew Nkea, praised Bishop George Nku for being a good shepherd who has not abandoned his sheep despite the turbulent Anglophone crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic.
I am a witness of the way he has exercised his ministry for the past 40 years, and we thank God for all that he is. And you see for yourself that the bishop is exercising his ministry, especially as chief shepherd of the Diocese of Kumbo in these difficult times. And we are witnesses to the fact that he is close to his sheep, he is standing near to his sheep, and he is ready to die for his sheep. And this is a very, very big testimony to the gospel message which is preaching to the people and which is giving out to the world.
Bishop George Nku, ordained priest on the 26th of April 1981, second batch of priests trained at the present-day St. Thomas Aquinas Major Seminary, Bambui, is the second residential bishop of Kumbo. With 15 years stay, has seen an increase in the number of priests and the creation of many parishes and deaneries. Celebrating his Ruby Jubilee, Bishop George Nko prescribed reconciliation to end the ongoing Anglophone crisis.
We need to be able to look at each other and call, this is my brother, this is my sister. And to make that is my class king. To make us truly, really brothers and sisters who love one another, who are ready to forgive one another, who are ready to say, I'm sorry, who are ready to be reconciled.
The head of state's personal representative, Northwest Governor Adolphe Lele Lafrique, not indifferent to the gunshot that erupted at the Jubilee celebration, said government is determined to bring peace.
We assure the Christians, the population of the division of the Northwest region, that the government is determined to bring long-lasting peace in this division and the whole region.
The 40th anniversary celebration of Bishop George Nko was celebrated alongside his classmates and others.
Edina Council has recorded a 62.13% realization rate of projects for the 2020 fiscal year. Over 800 million was adopted as council budget and over 500 million generated as revenue, as Kumono Rimbum tells us.
Councillors of Edina municipality have urged their mayor, Tondeli Fanjegebel, to do more to improve internal revenue. This was one of the major recommendations of members of the Finance Committee during a session to evaluate the administrative accounts of the Council for the 2020 fiscal year. During the session, the councillors observed that in 2020, the Council budgeted the sum of 890,388,098 francs CFA. Out of the amount budgeted, the sum of 553,209,000 francs was successfully realized by the Council. These gave a positive realization rate of 62.13% for the said year. The councillors equally observed that out of the above amount that was realized, only 41.36 million was generated locally, meaning the rest of the money came through government subventions and other external sources. It is within this setback that the councillors advised the mayor to improve on the collection of revenue for the council's internal sources in order that the council should not be grounded if revenue from external sources do not come. The councillors, nonetheless, were impressed with the level of execution of some of the projects realized during the 2020 fiscal year. Some of these projects includes the planting of solar lamps along most streets, quarters and villages across the municipality, the rehabilitation of the German Tower into a tourist destination, opening of roads and provision of boreholes in quarters and village to ensure that the population has water and other social amenities. The councillors went further to request the mayor to follow up and ensure the completion of pending projects such as the grandstand, motor park, amongst others. On his part, the mayor recounted that the grandstand project was awarded in 2019 to one contractor, but owing to the ongoing crisis, the contractor keeps complaining that the banks are refusing to finance the project on the pretext that it is in a war zone.
It was so difficult to everybody, not only to council, but to everybody with the COVID-19 and the crisis that all know. It was very difficult. It wasn't easy if we succeeded to achieve some of the projects that we presented, because we worked very hard.
The same reason was given to many other projects that have been abandoned owing to the fact that it has not been possible for many contractors to execute projects allocated to their enterprises in most municipalities in the Northwest and Southwest regions. The mayor thanked his councillors and said all the projects still under construction will be followed up to the latter. The first assistant senior divisional officer for FACO, Madame Marilyn Yefon, who presided at the session on behalf of the senior divisional officer, called on the mayor and councillors not to relent their efforts, be resilient, and stand firm in the face of challenges.
The National Coordinator of the Peace Office and the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, Reverend William, has expressed satisfaction at the work carried out by other coordinators of other peace offices in different regions of the country. He was speaking during a meeting with regional coordinators, which took place at the Synod office in Boya to evaluate the PCC Peace Office activities for the year 2020. Clarice Ekowe completes the story in the following report.
These are regional coordinators of the Peace Office of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, the PCC, who have converged on the Synod Office Hall in Boya. This meeting, chaired by the personal representative of the moderator of the PCC, was to evaluate the activities carried out by the Peace Office of the PCC for the year 2020.
This given point in the month of May, where we are halfway gone into our 2021-2022 project, to evaluate and see how far we've gone, and of course, looking at the deliberation itself, we can say that today was really necessary, because we can also hear other people that we invited who are also specialists in project management, trying to advise us, appreciate what we've done well, advise us on things to improve.
Going by the National Peace Coordinator of the PCC, Reverend William, much has been carried out by the Peace Office of the PCC, to which hierarchy has expressed satisfaction.
Sometimes when you work and hierarchy seems silent, you may look discouraged, but in this case, the hierarchy has been placing their hands on our soldiers and encouraging us to do even more than what we have been doing. So I feel a successful coordinator and pray that the work will not end in Boya. As the coordinators move to the Adama West, they move to Garua, Marua, to Bamenda, to Bafusam, to Litura, to every place where this project is being executed. More energy will be put in place.
After several hours of deliberations, some resolutions were arrived at.
The resolutions we took today was the integration of the works that are done by the regional coordinators, so we can have a comprehensive understanding of what the Peace Office does. And also we resolved that the Peace Project should extend its tentacles to get partners out of the routine partners that we have at the level of the PCC, and that also they should have a grip of the projects and identify who is a beneficiary and who is a project owner.
Meanwhile, the National Peace Coordinator enjoined the various regional coordinators to keep the steam of hard work so that more projects will be realized in the coming months.
Some 250 internally displaced men and women have benefited from training organized by the Mbonwe Women's Development Association. They were trained on the various processes of vegetable production to enable them cater for themselves, given that a population or a group of them have left via settlement to other parts of the country due to the current socio-political crisis affecting the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Clarice Ekowe completes this story.
These are some 250 IDP women and men who have converged on the Full Gospel Church Moliko Boya for a one-day intensive training organized by the Mbonwe Women's Development Association. This training seeks to expose these IDPs on the various processes of vegetable production, how to grow crops on small pieces of land, and the proper use of farming chemicals.
These women are women that have lived on agriculture, and they are with their relatives or non-relatives. They are finding it difficult to feed their families. Also, they are even finding it difficult to send the children to school. So we decided to organize to create this project to bring IDP women together, teach them how to plant the crops that can be easily planted and which will take a short time to be able to be marketed. About 4 months ago, we taught them how to plant maize. We also taught them how to plant vegetables. But within these 6 months, we realized that one of the biggest problems that these IDPs face is the use of chemicals. That's why we have the first thing we taught today was how to use chemicals.
While receiving training from agricultural experts, Madame Asaba Prudence, the project director, used the opportunity to encourage these IDPs to make proper use of the skills acquired so as to better their lives and that of their family members.
Displaced, but you are not desperate. You are not miserable. It can be a springboard for better life. And so we don't want just to help them to say, no, every day we come and we give you something that you consume immediately. We want to make them know that they can work on their own and try to fend for themselves. And so now you see the women, they're going to do the demonstration lesson on how to use bottles, these plastic bottles, to plant vegetables.
Also reviewed during this seminar was the fact that 10 centers for adult literacy have been created by the Bone West Women Development Association to enable the women have a better understanding of farming chemicals they use on a daily basis in their farming activities.
The national president of the East Reform Movement was in Bertoua over the weekend to officially install executive members into their functions and sensitize the activists. This was after his tour of the far north region. Our reporter Jean Didier tells us more in the French language.
Créé en 2006 et légalisé le 2 mars 2007, le mouvement réformateur fait partie des plus de 300 partis politiques qui animent la scène politique au Cameroun. Dans le but de fédérer tous les Camerounais autour de cette force politique, changer le politique et la politique afin de transformer socialement la vie des Camerounais, telles sont entre autres missions du parti créé par Samuel Bilon, candidat à l'élection présidentielle de 2011. C'est dans cette optique que le parti entend imprégner sa marque dans la région de l'Est. Une causerie participative vient de se tenir dans un hôtel de la place en présence du président du mouvement et son bureau exécutif. Il a été aussi question pour le président national d'installer les différents délégués des 4 départements ainsi que des présidents départementaux.
S'il y a un mot qui est d'actualité dans notre pays, c'est réformateur, c'est la réforme. Je veux me permettre de dire que même le président de la République actuelle, dans son dernier discours, a parlé de réforme, même s'il n'a pas dit exactement ce qu'il voulait. Okay? Donc, ce qu'il faut aujourd'hui, c'est les réformes, comme on dit, pour apporter les changements sociaux et institutionnels porteurs du bien-être de la population. Qu'est-ce qu'on va réformer? Qu'est-ce qui fonctionne dans notre pays? L'Assemblée nationale fonctionne. J'ai dit tout à l'heure dans la salle, vous avez les députés qui travaillent 3 mois sur l'année. Ça ne peut pas fonctionner. Donc, avec ça, ils ne peuvent pas faire de proposition de loi. Est-ce que l'exécutif fonctionne? Vous avez aujourd'hui devant tout le monde des combats entre le Premier ministre et le secrétaire général de la présidence. Rien ne fonctionne. Donc, nous allons réformer les institutions pour que les institutions fonctionnent normalement et que les populations comprennent, voient très bien les bienfaits de la réforme.
C'est donc un nouveau challenge qui s'ouvre pour les militants de ce parti qui devront cravacher dur pour s'implanter dans une région acquise au RDPC.
Et réformer ne veut pas dire combattre, parce que vous avez dit comment combattre le RDPC qui est en place. Non, ce n'est pas un combat. C'est juste implanter le parti, le mouvement réformateur, pas pour combattre le RDPC, mais pour, ensemble avec le RDPC, réformer le pays, pour le bien-être de tous.
Après la région de l'Adamawa et une tournée dans le Grand Nord, l'Est a désormais son bureau exécutif. Des jeunes et anciens parés pour affronter l'adversité du parti au pouvoir et son écrasante majorité.
Members of the Cameroon Community Media Network, CCMN, Littoral Chapter have been schooled on legal issues pertaining to female inheritance in the country. This was during their second network meeting for 2021, which took place here in Douala at Bonanjo. Eileen Sama was part of the meeting. She compiled the following.
The members of the Cameroon Community Media Network, during their meeting held on Friday, May 7, 2021 in Douala, discussed on the 2021 World Press Freedom Day theme, information as a public good, while fine-tuning recommendations on how best to implement the theme, which summarizes their profession in just 5 words. It was a great opportunity for the regional coordinator of the CTM and Littora, Regional Liengo Etaka, to challenge the peace journalists to be more engaging in all campaigns run by the network, including the COVID-19 and the hate speech campaigns, as well as to be pace-setters in the laborer's profession.
Challenges in the media landscape are many. We have the COVID-19 pandemic. We have the crisis that has greatly affected the littoral region in particular, as we have a lot of internally displaced persons here. The CCMA network has to be a four-player in promoting peace and upholding the fight against hate speech, as well as enhancing our community reconciliation. It is our duty to do our best to clamor for peace.
But most importantly was the talk on female inheritance by Barrister BrigadeAntiSardinard, who drilled journalists on the rights of a woman concerning inheritance. Barrister Mbaiga explained that contrary to conceptions in Cameroon, a woman has rights to inherit property, be it from her husband or father.
The law says that the woman has the half part of the patrimony of her husband.
We've come to the end of today's edition of Prime News on My Media Prime. Thanks for being with us. Ewane Eli Noninga produced the news coordinated by Lasha Kingsley. My name is Genda Blanche King. See you tomorrow at 6:30 for another edition of Prime News. Till we meet again, stay tuned at 7 p.m. Cameroon time. Prime Hour will be live. Happy viewing. Good night.